YouTube. Yeah, we should be finally live on YouTube. Can you hear me clearly and see me clearly? I do apologize for the late start. For those of you that are watching live, if you're on the replay, it's not going to matter. Obviously, it'll be on demand at that point. On the way into the trail today, it's a one-lane road, and there was a car carrier that was blocking the road for a little while, and it really delayed me. To be honest, I would have probably been a few minutes late regardless, but this made me super late. So just wanted to be honest with you folks. Thank you for the one thumb up already here. I'm going to just wait a few minutes, make sure people get a notification, and realize that I've gone live. Before I get to that, let me just give you folks a little update. I took the last couple of days off and went and spent some time with the woman I've been seeing for the last month and a half, and had a pretty good time yesterday and last night, and came back this morning. And she does live a little over an hour and a half away. Not an hour and a half, sorry, a little bit over an hour and 15 minutes or so, but it's, with traffic, it can be over an hour and a half, which no problem. Not a big deal. It's always worth it for the right person, right? I got back this morning and been ready to get right back to it. And now, this microphone is rubbing up against this collar. It always rubs up against like the zipper of the collar. Gotta find a way to prevent that. Let me see if I can do something here. That might help it out a little bit. It may look a little funny right there, but that's okay. It's gonna prevent it from rubbing up against the zipper and making that annoying sound as I'm walking. But yeah, I took the last couple of days off and was just, relaxing, and, sometimes you just need to take a break and just focus on other things. Those of you out here that have been at YouTube for a while know what I'm talking about. Oh man, it's still rubbing up against this damn thing. Let me see if there's anything else I can do to prevent it from rubbing. I guess there's not much I can really do. Let me see here. No, we're just gonna have to deal with it. Oh my god, that's just so damn annoying. Once I do that. Give me a second here, folks. I apologize for the dead air. Maybe if I just zip this up, that'll take care of the issue. Just zip it up. It's all good. I'd rather zip it up and not get any air breathing in here than not zip it up and it makes that rubbing sound on the zipper. Maybe I'll start running my cord down my shirt in the future. Another step there. Anyway, I hope you're all having a great day. It's a beautiful day out here in Redwood City, California, where I live. It's about 75 degrees. A little bit of wind, slight wind, but not too much. And I have a very interesting topic to discuss today, and it's going to be regarding letting go of the past. So that way you can allow future opportunities, that come to you in your life. Hey Gary, how you doing? Queen is here. You're good. Hey Queen, welcome to the show. Thank you for the topic. Gary, I am watching but can't chat, doing paperwork, walk careful. Well, thank you, Gary. I appreciate that. Welcome to the show. Glad to see you here. Queen, let me tackle that. I don't feel the need to explain anything to anyone. Deep within, I don't feel the need to explain anything. The reason why I do it, Queen, to answer your question, is because I'm a coach. And part of my job as a coach is thoroughly explaining things in detail so people can hopefully better learn these things and understand them. I'm also very big about transparency and being honest with people and, sharing as much of my life as I possibly can. Because I honestly feel the more honest you are, about yourself, the better you can help other people. I used to be even more honest than I am now. I'm not saying I'm dishonest now, I'm not. I just don't share as many things. An example, any woman I've dated since my ex that used to help me run my former channel is unknown. And I don't I don't mention their name or where they live or any of their stats or anything like that. I don't take any pictures and put them on social media. There is nothing digitally online that ties me, with any woman I've dated, including the current one. There's nothing that ties me online to them. And it's not because I don't want to put them out there. It's not because, I don't want to put this one out there. It's not because I don't want to put her out there. That's what I'm trying to say. It's because, these trolls and haters on the internet, they like to dissect every aspect of your life, and they try to break up your relationships by trolling the people you care about the most. When they can't get to you, they go after the people that they know you care about the most, right? It's pretty pathetic, but that's just the way it is. So you have to learn to better protect yourself. But yeah, no, Queen, I don't honestly feel the need to explain myself to anyone. I just do it because it's part of my thing. It's part of, how I present my material. And sometimes when I come and I do these shows, it gives me an opportunity to, I don't know if I necessarily say vent out my frustrations or vent out certain things happening to me, but I like to just kind of let things out. When it comes to myself, no matter what I'm going through, I have no problem publicly sharing it with people that are learning from me. And I've always been the kind of guy that I've always led by example, regardless of anything I've done in the past. Any past job I had, whether I was an employee or a manager, especially if I was a manager, I would always lead by example. And right now, if I'm going to teach people life's principles on how to better themselves so they can accomplish whatever it is that their hearts desire, I'm going to lead by example. So I hope that answers your question, Queen. I've had a lot of coffee today. And I've used the restroom twice in the last hour, and I'm already feeling like I'm going to have to use it again. I know, Queen, you're going to say, stop drinking all that coffee. I get it. I understand. Your private life is private for a reason. I agree, Queen. But I think you're misunderstanding what I'm trying to say. I don't have a problem. I just heard a car alarm go off. I don't have a problem sharing anything about my life, including my personal life, including who I'm dating. The only reason why I don't do it is because other people, when I did it in the past, really took it way too far. And the only way to guarantee that they don't do it is by not identifying the people that mean the most to me that I meet from this point on. Whether it's new friends or a girlfriend like the one I have right now, etc. But technically I wouldn't have a problem, sharing with the whole world who I'm with. Because if you don't feel comfortable sharing that special person with the whole world, then why are you with them, right? The only reason why I don't do it is because I don't want her to get harassed by these people. I don't want her to get trolled and harass her and her family. These people will run background checks and they'll do it just to try to break us up, and they'll keep going until they break us up, and then they're going to pray that I make content out of it, which if that even happened, I wouldn't make content out of it. But I'm not going to let it happen. I cut it off at the knees. I learned my lesson from making that mistake in the past, which really wasn't a mistake. I was just running a good YouTube channel with my ex when we were dating many years ago, and we had some great content. And because I wasn't experienced at being a full-time YouTuber at that point, I didn't know how to handle the court of public opinion, but I learned, and now I'm teaching other people how to better handle it. But I appreciate your thoughts, Queen. I also heard that Facebook changed their name today. I'm not going to talk about that. It's just kind of ironic. They didn't change the name Facebook.com. They changed the name of the parent company. So I'm not going to talk about that at all. I did get a notification on my phone that they were doing that, or they had done that. And then, Queen, I saw you make a tweet about it literally like 5 minutes later. You're on top of these stories, aren't you, Queen? You definitely are. So let's just get right to it, because I have a lot to discuss regarding this topic. And I just really hope Queen says, yes, I am. She is on top of it, of course. Like I said, I have a lot to discuss, and I also really don't want to trigger anyone. So I'm just gonna, preface by saying that this content isn't directed to any particular person. There's a dude out here racing a gas-powered truck. I actually still have one of those. It's just out of commission. It's a gas-powered truck. But his sounds like it's electric, because I don't hear loud gas. It's probably an electric. Yeah, I have a gas-powered one. They call it like nitro fuel. I bought a gas RC truck. Oh God, when was this? About 20 years ago. Again, I still have it. It's just out of commission. I could probably get it going again, but it would just take up too much of my time. And if you crash those things, the parts crack and you have to buy expensive parts. It's like fixing a real truck, but miniature sized. And I had 3 different sets of tires for all different types of roads and weather and stuff like that. So yeah, that dude's out here playing with his high-powered, fast, you know, electric RC truck, radio-controlled truck. You probably heard that as I walked on by. It is a toy that somebody is playing with. Yes, it's a radio-controlled truck. And he's out here because this is a dirt/gravel trail. I mean, this is a good trail to actually run a truck, but you're not really supposed to. This is a walking trail, a jogging trail, running trail, and a biking trail. This is not a trail for radio-controlled trucks. But I mean, you know, there's a sign saying that, and there's technically no law where you can and can't, you know, play with these things. But anyway, let me get to the topic here, and then when I get around the corner, I'm going to take a restroom break and go off the air for a few minutes. Welcome to Navigating the Modern World with Coach Eli, the Walking with Purpose live edition, live from the San Francisco Bay Trail in beautiful, sunny, warm Redwood City, California. This is episode number 163. And today, we're going to be discussing letting go of the past to open up the space for future opportunities. One more time, letting go of the past to open up the space for future opportunities. I will say that the majority of people in this world, this is my opinion, but I believe this to be true, but I'm going to state it as an opinion. I believe that the majority of people in this world that are struggling to accomplish anything in this world, whether it be at a business or personal level, whether it's getting that dream job, getting promoted at that dream job, becoming a self-employed entrepreneur and being successful, finding a boyfriend or girlfriend, and making a successful relationship happen, having a happy marriage, etc. This one particular aspect affects every aspect of your life, from being able to reach that success. And that's because if you hold on to the past, if you've had traumatic experiences in the past or throughout your life, and you're holding on to those traumatic experiences, and you just don't let them go, it's going to affect you from accomplishing every single aspect of life you try to accomplish in the future, whether it be business or personal. And why is that? Why is that? Because we all have emotional triggers. Whether we're men or women, we have emotional triggers. An example I can give you, let's say if you're on a date with someone, as a guy or a gal, right? And you ask your other half something, or you discuss something with your other half that reminds them of a past emotionally traumatizing event, it will trigger them. And it will put them in a state of emotion that you really, really don't want to put them in. Depending on how traumatic that experience was for that person, you know, they may be able to work through it quickly and move on with your date, or they may continue to be in that, you know, triggering state of being emotionally traumatized regarding something that they're currently triggered that reminds them of the past traumatic experience they still haven't worked through. And that's why one of the biggest things that people don't understand and why people fail is because they have unresolved issues. And how do I know this? Obviously, I've read a lot about it. I've, read a lot of books about this type of stuff, personal development type of stuff. I've also read a lot of stories online about some of the dates guys have been on with women or women have been on with guys. It's not just women that overreact emotionally in these situations. It's also men. Men have unresolved issues too. As a matter of fact, nowadays it appears that men have more unresolved issues than women, and that's kind of strange. Because typically men don't let stuff like that stop them from moving forward. But the men in this world nowadays are being raised differently. They're coming from broken households. They're coming from households where their fathers are more feminized and their mothers are more of a masculine role model, and it confuses the little boys growing up. And that's what creates these issues, and these guys just don't know how to resolve issues like a normal, healthy man would, right? So that's why nowadays, in my opinion, you're seeing a lot of men, a lot of young men, and even men that get into their 30s and 40s have unresolved issues, right? And here's the thing. Me growing up, I had a great upbringing. I had both my mother and father, a strong father figure, masculine role model, and a strong mother figure, very loving, caring, nurturing. I had great grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins. I had it all. But I still had issues. That happens sometimes. And I still had issues. Stemming back to my childhood, I won't go into too much detail today. I've gone into detail on this in the past. But a lot of these issues were unresolved until I was in my late 20s or early 30s. And so how did I resolve these issues? I started to realize that I was holding on to the past. Every new experience I would encounter, whether it be business or personal, these past unresolved issues, when somebody would trigger me by speaking about something similar, whether it be in the business world or the personal world and dating, it would make me overreact. It would make me pretty much lose my shit, to be quite frank with you. All right, folks, I'm going to go off the air for a second. I will be back in just a couple minutes, all right? Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. All right, folks, we should be back live. My apologies for that. We should be back live. All right, so to continue where I left off, I had my own unresolved issues that were affecting me until my late 20s, early 30s, right? And as I started to get older, I started to realize that I was sabotaging myself. And the interesting thing is, and I'm sure many of you, because most of us, if not all of us, go through stuff like this. Many of you have probably realized, yeah, I sabotage my relationships. I sabotage, anyone that tries to get close to me or etc., whatever, right? Okay? I started to realize that I was sabotaging myself by, holding on to the past regarding things I experienced in my younger days, which I'm not going to go into detail here today. I've done it in the past. Not that I don't want to talk about it. It'll just take way too long. But just understand, hey, I've been through things too. I had unresolved issues myself, even though I came from a good family and had a great upbringing, right? It happens to everyone, okay? So I was able to finally work through it by coming to terms with it on my own. And that's what I'm here to share with you folks today. You know, how do you let go of the past in order to leave the space open for future opportunities regarding any aspects of your life? How do you let go of the past? You have to make that decision on your own, because nobody can help you, including myself as a coach, any other coach, or even a therapist can't even help you unless you come to the realization that you need a therapist or a coach. I'm sure every therapist out there has tried to help someone that wasn't open to help. I've tried to coach people that weren't open to it out of the kindness of my heart, free of charge. And guess what happens every time you do that? These people project on you and they attack you and they say, oh, you think I need a coach? Oh, you're trying to sell me your products? No. I'm trying to help you out. I never said I was going to charge you a damn thing. That's what you get. So you can't force people into helping them with what you know they're going through, and even if you know it would make a huge difference in their life and change their life, they have to come to that realization on their own, just like I did. So before anyone can support you or help you work through any aspect, right? Anything you're holding on to from the past, resentment towards someone for something, right? Or any other unresolved issue, right? Before anyone can help you, you have to be open to the help. You have to identify what's really going on and say to yourself, I've had enough. I want this to stop. I want to stop sabotaging myself. I want to move past all of my past trauma or unresolved issues so I can accomplish greatness for the rest of my life. I came to that realization towards my late 20s and into my early 30s. And it was at that point that I started to be open to more personal development type of content and material that I wasn't open to before. Folks, the stuff I believe in today and I preach in today, I was completely against. I was anti-coaching, anti-personal development. I thought these people were all crooks and trying to cheat people. Now, there are some that are crooks and cheat people out, okay? But for the most part, most people that teach personal development like I do and do coaching like I do, they do it because they love helping people. They do it because they themselves have experienced a lot in life. They've been through a lot and they've been able to turn their life around. And now they want to do what I do. They want to help people turn their life around or their lives around. Wow, look at that. That's an absolutely gorgeous day today. There's a lot of traffic on Highway 101. It is closer to about 3 o'clock right now. There are more people on the road now than there have been any time in the last 2 years. That's why gas prices have soared. The supply of crude oil is a little bit lower than normal, and the demand has spiked up like threefold. I put super unleaded in my car. I paid $5.09 a gallon yesterday. Lucky for me, my car gets on average, 33 to 35 miles per gallon on the freeway. So, I mean, that does help. For a non-hybrid, that's a pretty good, that's pretty decent gas mileage. Give me a second here. Look at that plane. It's just gliding nice and slow. Beautiful. It's a nice, tiny plane there. Flapping its wings left, right, trying to straighten it up for the runway. Crooks is the right word. I will agree with you. The oil companies, yeah, they're all ripping this off. It's all because of the price of crude oil. It's $8 a gallon now in some parts of California. Yeah, I was talking about that a few days back on the stream, Queen. I think it was during the weekend and you weren't here. Yeah, some Central Coast cities that are tiny cities where it's hard to get gas to. You have to make a special trip with a tanker to get them gas. I think like regular was $7.50 there. Can't remember the name of the city. And super was like $8 or $8.50 a gallon. That's insane. $8 a gallon for gas. Maybe I'll do a topic on how to handle, inflation. The current inflation that's just going up rapidly, much higher than wages are. It's just unbelievable. People are really, many people are really struggling. I don't think everybody's struggling. I mean, if you live out here in the Bay Area and you make a couple, $200,000-300,000 grand a year, and you bought a home, you locked into your home, and you do all right. The price of gas going up $2-3 a gallon is not going to break those people. Sure, they're going to complain about it. I don't think anyone wants to pay more for gas, no matter how much money they have. But like here in the Bay Area, we're already used to paying more for everything. So, I mean, while this is pissing us off, it is. We're still paying it, and we're still going on with our lives. And here's the thing, for me, and if the woman that I'm seeing, she's actually working right now. Sometimes she's able to listen in with her headphones while she's, doing her work. If you're listening, ma'am, I didn't one time complain about coming to see you because of, I didn't complain one time about the high gas prices when coming to see you, is what I'm trying to say. Like, I just don't complain about things anymore. I don't complain about anything. Maybe every now and then something might slip. I'm human, right? But I've just learned to say it is what it is. I accept things at face value. Gas prices are, wow. I'm going to hold off. That plane is coming pretty low. All right. Wow. When you're looking at the plane coming from the other side there, it looks actually a lot lower than it is. But I don't take chances. I'm very well aware of my surroundings. But yeah, to the woman that's at work right now, whether you watch this now or on the replay, I didn't once complain about high gas prices when driving all that way to see you. It's just not worth complaining about things anymore. And nowadays, the internet's just one big soapbox, like soap opera, about people just whining, bitching, and complaining about every little damn thing. And it's like, for me, it's like, I got better things to do. Why complain about shit that's out of my control? I don't control gas prices. I don't control the prices to any of the commodities that we have nowadays, right? And quite frankly, the way I look at it is this way. You know, if we go back 100, 200 years ago, we didn't have any of these conveniences we have nowadays. We had to go out there as men and hunt and use sticks and try to start a fire with sticks and create a fire pit, right? We didn't have air conditioning. We didn't have heating. You know, we didn't have motorized vehicles. We would build horse carriages. I mean, I as I've gotten older, I've really just started to dig a little deeper at how fucking spoiled we all are nowadays with modern conveniences, right? I'm broadcasting live from an iPhone 12 Pro Max. Who the hell would have thought of such a thing would be possible 200 years ago or back in the Stone Age or anything like that, right? We're so damn spoiled with everything, right? That when something goes up in price or something doesn't work, we just complain. We whine and complain like little female dogs. I used to be like that. I used to complain about everything. And like I said, as I've gotten older, it's just not worth it anymore. I don't have the energy. I mean, I do have energy. I'm still energetic at age 47, almost 48 next month. But I just don't have the reserve energy like I used to have to complain about things and then still have energy left over to get what I need done. So that's why, like, I just ignore this stuff. Yeah, it sucks to pay more money for stuff, right? But what choice do you have? What do? Stop living? Stop doing the things you've been doing for the last several decades with your car? What do? I'm just being honest about it. I'm heading out to the observation deck and it looks like there's nobody out there. I might be able to spend a few minutes up there with you folks. I'm feeling pretty good today. I was just thinking in my head of possibly doing an in-studio stream from this channel tonight. But I'm probably not going to. I'm probably just going to record some more pre-recorded videos for the content I'm creating for men elsewhere that I still have not announced here yet. And I'm not going to announce it for a little while until I get some more content wherever I have this content at. But you folks will see what's coming. I've been working on a lot of stuff. It looks like I haven't been doing a lot lately, but I've actually been working on a lot of things behind the scenes. Been working on a ton of pre-recorded content. Let me see the chat real quick. So it's really important, folks, that whatever you try to accomplish from this point on in your life, that you go into with a clear head, clear heart, clear mind, clear soul. And don't let anything in the past affect you when you're dealing with something new, whether it be personal or professional. got to dig deep and start to realize what's affecting your success. What's preventing you from getting where you want to get to, right? A lot of people, which is what I'm trying to say, a lot of people like to blame everybody else for their failures, when the truth of the matter is you only have yourself to blame. Because half the battle of being successful is how you show up, right? If you show up with a piss poor attitude and you've got a lot of unresolved issues that emotionally traumatized you at one point in your life, and if you haven't worked through those emotionally traumatizing issues that happened to you in the past, you're going to project those issues onto every single person you encounter in your life, whether it be people you work with, a man or a woman you're dating, friends or whatever. You're going to project that whenever those people that you're hanging around with talk about something that reminds you of that emotionally triggering situation, that unresolved emotionally triggering situation. And it's not easy working through these emotionally traumatizing situations. It's not easy. But it's not possible. I've been through them myself. And a lot of people would think, okay, yeah, like I mentioned earlier in this show, Eli, you've had a good life. You've had your parents. You were raised right? You got a lot of nurturing love and this and that, right? That's true. But I still had some issues. I did. Right? And a lot of these issues, they started when I was younger, and they hounded me even into my 20s. I mean, once I reached my junior and senior year of high school, they didn't hound me as much, but they still hounded me at times. And they hounded me at times through my 20s until I started to realize what was going on. And like I mentioned earlier, I realized I was sabotaging myself. I was projecting my insecurities onto other people that I perceived were better than me or in a better place than me. The truth of the matter is, I wasn't perceiving it. They were in a better place than me. They were further ahead than me. I had to sit there and, give myself some tough love and say, man, Eli, you're jealous of some of your friends, some other people you've come across because they have a better girlfriend, they have a girlfriend or whatever, or they have a better job, or they make more money. Like, honestly, when I was younger, I really let that shit get to me. And it was my demise. It affected me in all aspects of my life. And it all stemmed back to unresolved issues I had in my childhood that really didn't even involve the way I was raised. I will say this. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I won't go into great detail because it'll take too long. I've shared the story before. I mean, I was picked on. I was picked on and bullied in my grammar school days for many years. I didn't know how to handle it. As I got older, I learned how to handle it. And then when I came, I'll even admit this. I've said it before. I'll say it again. When I came, let me come down here. We got some people that are probably going to be coming up to the observation deck. Got some joggers. Give me a second. to the observation deck. Give me a second, folks. So like I said, I was picked on. In my younger days, didn't know how to handle it. And when I came out here on YouTube, this is a good example, folks. I'm being honest with you folks. Even the best of us, we have our moments when we get older, right? Some things get rehashed, even things you've worked through, right? You know, when I was running my former channel and I was getting picked on and getting trolled very hard, I didn't even know what trolling was back then, right? I overreacted many times, which is why I kept going back and forth with these people for a while. And if I look back now, the reason why I kept going back and forth with these people is because it triggered something that was once unresolved in the past. Issues stemming back to my issues stemming back to my childhood, where I was, you know, bullied and teased in grammar school. And even though I had worked through that, sometimes, folks, you can relapse. It happens, and it happened to me, right? And a lot of people that have been following me for a while that know how people came at me on YouTube. I got attacked gang mob style by lots of people, not only online, and the things they did to myself and my family and everyone I cared for. They looked up every single aspect of my life, right? They actually even took it into real life. Some of these people took it into real life and came and stalked myself and my family. So a lot of people are wondering, Eli, wow, you just let it go. You just don't even, you know, every so often I may mention the story as an example to share that I've worked through it, but I don't talk about these people. And even if they talk about me, I don't go to their streams. I don't make any postings on them. I don't mention their names, nothing, right? And people that have known me since those days ask me, how did you work through it? These people still talk about you, and you just keep moving on and doing your own thing no matter what. I said, because I've been through a lot of stuff in my life, and I compared it to something that happened in the past, and then I remembered how I handled the situation the last time. It ended up becoming familiar to me. It was kind of like I had a playbook to my own life. But yeah, I relapsed for a little while. Plus, YouTube was a brand new thing to me at that point as a full-time creator. I'd been on YouTube since it came out 15, 16, 17 years ago, but I never took a crack at being a real YouTuber until about almost 5 years ago on my former channel. And see, folks, especially as you get older, okay, for you younger guys and gals, you're going to go through a lot of stuff before you figure this out. If you're fortunate to figure this out in your early to mid 20s, at the level I know it right now, you're going to have a 15, 20-year head start over me. Because even though I was able to resolve these past traumatic issues from my past by the time I was in my late 20s, early 30s, there have been a few times where I've relapsed. And because of the times now that I've relapsed and having the past to compare it to how I, figured it out in the past, I now know I will never put myself in that position again. I will never, ever let anything get to me again. I'm at the point right now in my life where my heart's as hard as a rock. I'm not saying it's not open for love or anything, but my heart's as hard as a rock. And ma'am, if you're watching behind the scenes, when you hear me say my heart's as hard as a rock, I think that'll answer some questions, that you may have, about what I've been through in the past and why it's so hard for me to give my heart, or anyone to give their heart. And it's not that I don't want to give my heart to anybody and do all that. It's just that I know what's at stake when you give it. And you just can't give it away that easily or freely nowadays. Because people will squash it. And it's not a good feeling at all. I want to share some stories from the past. Before I met this woman, I had talked to so many women, and guys and gals, this works for you folks on both sides, but I'm going to use myself as an example and use women as an example of what to look for what to look for before investing too much time to get to know someone, like from the online dating world or dating world in general. I've shared a lot of these stories in the past, and this topic reminded me of one from earlier on in the year, before I had met this woman now. This woman I'm with now, but this is not her. This is a different person I was talking with in the past. And I had gotten to the point of where I didn't even want to have a phone conversation with some women that wanted to have a phone conversation with me, because I would ask them a few questions through texting and I would pick up on red flags. And this is the key, guys and gals. This right now, what I'm about to give you right now, if you can understand it, even at half the level I understand it, it's going to help you. If you can understand this completely, it'll save you a lot of time and heartache, and allow you to focus on the right people, because it's gonna teach you to really pick up on red flags instantaneously, right? So this was many months ago, earlier on this year. I connected with this woman through a dating app, and she had sent me a message, and she sent me a message first. And when a woman sends a message first, to me it's like, okay. But when a woman initiates, she's interested at a pretty high level. But I'm always, or I always was, not anymore, but back then, I was always leery when a woman would message me first. Number one, is she a spammer? Or number two, if she is real and she's reaching out to me first, when she probably has many other guys out there that are reaching out to her, she can have her pick up the litter, why is she reaching out to me? what unresolved issues does she have that she thinks she can push past my radar and try to get into something with me to extract something from me, right? Whether it be financial resources or be an emotional tampon or whatever. Some women just want you to be their emotional tampon, right? They want them to be your therapist, right? So that's an immediate red flag to me. Whenever a woman reaches out to you first, guys, it's an immediate red flag. And especially if they're really nice. Like this woman was really nice. She was complimentary on my profile, pictures, everything, right? And what I would do, when I was seeking for somebody back then, is I would try to get their number as quickly as possible, and I would text them. And I would typically, reach out to them by text. Hey, it's Eli from blah, 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 right? Great to connect with you off the app. How's your day going? And what I started doing earlier on this year before I met this woman is I would start to screen women out, even through a brief series of 4 or 5 text messages throughout that particular day I was talking with them, before even agreeing to a phone call. Because it had gotten to the point for me back then that I was having hour, 2, 3 hour long conversations with women, and I would find out things about them in the 3rd hour that would end our conversation. And it was a waste of time. And as you get older, you don't have as much time. And even for you younger guys and gals out there, if you can figure things out, if you can figure out, what place the person is that you're getting to know to possibly meet for a date and possibly date them, if you can figure out where their emotional state is, do they have unresolved issues, okay? Then the best thing would probably be to just, let them go and move on to somebody else that doesn't have issues. So what ended up happening with this woman, I was saying, hey, would you be cool with texting throughout the day, getting to know each other when possible? I know we're both busy working, but yeah, let me know if we can send a few text messages back and forth, get to know each other a little better, and then maybe we can even have, I'd say maybe we can even have a phone conversation later, tonight or that night, whenever it was back then. And they get back, typically they say, yeah, that's cool, no problem, right? So this woman here, and I'm trying to remember this story, it was towards the beginning of the year. It was a good one. It was one that I shared a lot of stories back on some live streams I did earlier on the year. I never shared this one. There are plenty others. There are plenty others. I could go back to my text history, and I can make streams and share stories that would blow your mind. But yeah, this one just popped into my head because of the topic. And so, let me see real quick. So, she had asked me, how long have you been single for, and how long was your last relationship or whatever, right? And I told her about that. No big deal, right? And so I just, wrote back and I said, hang on a second. Don't worry, I'm here. Yeah, well, thanks, Queen. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm not worried, Queen. I know you got it covered. No big deal. Thank you so much, Queen. So I asked her, I asked her for, her, how long she's been single for and this and that. And she had said she was single for about a year. I think she had said she was, if I remember correct, she was divorced for 10 or 12 years. I can't remember exactly. I'm just trying to refresh this in my head. And she had said that she had, since her divorce, she had a 4.5-year relationship and then a 1-year relationship that ended a year ago or something like that. And she said it was a great relationship, but the person she was seeing tragically died. And she had told me that she went to therapy and had a lot of grief counseling and this and that. Now, from what I remember, this woman seemed pretty decent, and I'm not going to necessarily hold that against someone. If someone's going to get there, we all go through things. Most of us, if not all of us, have been to therapy at one point or another, right, or a counselor or something, right? So I wasn't holding that against her, and I'm not saying for you guys or gals to hold that against someone. But it is like a yellow, almost red flag. It's like a caution flag. It's like, okay, so she's being really transparent about her situation. She lost her boyfriend. I don't recall her mentioning what happened. She tragically lost him. She went through grief counseling, or she had therapy or whatever. And she said she had worked through everything, right? Now, she had also told me that she had like a teenage son that was like 14 or 15 or something, right? And I remember this conversation because of the death of her boyfriend. I was like, okay. And she was okay looking. She was fairly cute, but she seemed to have a good personality, which I was more interested in. But after reading all that, I needed to process this. I was like, just something's not feeling right here, When I get that feeling like something's not feeling right, you got to trust your gut, guys and gals. If it doesn't feel right, you're probably right. It's not right. So I didn't text her back after that. I remember the next day I didn't text her. And then the following day, she ended up, texting me following up. I'm sitting there thinking to myself, okay, so she was reaching out to me again. Okay, she must be really interested. But now, I know she went through something traumatic, and she said she's worked through it, but has she really worked through it? So guess what I did back then? And I've taught you guys and gals both this. Women shit test men, I shit test women. I put her through the Eli shit test. And I had a 99% certainty that she was going to fail, because I was going to uncover that she had not worked through those issues. They were unresolved. Right? So what did I do? I'm a very intelligent guy. I'm not just gonna go in there and say, "Are you still traumatized?" Blah blah blah. I went in there and took the sneak approach. So I was just, kind of talking with her. I was saying, "Yeah, so what are your?" Well, I remember what I tried to do. I was trying to kind of be a little flirty. That's what you want to do to try to see how into you they are, right? Because she had messaged me first a second time after I didn't get back to her for like a day or day and a half or whatever it was, from what I remember. So now I was going to test to see how much of an interest did this woman really have, right? And how resolved are her issues, or are they unresolved, right? I'd rather find out now. At that time, I was thinking to myself, I'd rather find out now if, she has unresolved issues than investing time with her in person, going to dinners and all that stuff, right? To only find that out a month down the road, right? So it would have been a waste of time. So I asked her. I said, "You kind of feeling this, aren't you?" And she gets back and goes, "I'm not quite sure what you mean by that." Right? Now, guys, there's nothing wrong if you're having a conversation with a woman, even through texting, you're getting to know her, or if you're on the phone and it feels right. There's nothing wrong if it feels like, if it feels like you're getting along and you can tell like she's feeling it and you're feeling it. There's nothing wrong with saying, "You're kind of feeling this, aren't you?" It's just being a strong, confident man. It's not seeking validation or anything. It's just saying, "You're kind of feeling this, aren't you?" Right? And see how they respond, right? So because I realized that more than likely this woman was still traumatized over her late boyfriend's death that happened just a year prior, even though she said she'd been through a lot of grief counseling and all that, and she's ready to find someone new. I wanted to test her to see if she was really ready. And so, like I said, she said, "Okay, I don't know what you mean by that." She goes, or she said something like, "I like how our conversation's going so far, and we're not going to know more until we talk by phone and meet in person and all that." See, here's the thing. When a woman is really into you, she likes your texting, she likes your pictures, and she wants to have that phone call with you, she's going to say, "Yeah, I really feel there's something cool here. I don't know, I feel the energy through your writing," or whatever, right? A woman that's really into you is just going to, whether it's by a text, email, phone call, whatever, right? Like I said, I was shit testing her because she had gone through a traumatic experience, and I didn't think that she was really ready. And I didn't believe her when she said that her issues were resolved. So I then asked her after that, because with every woman I've talked with in the past, ever since I've been self-employed, I would ask them, "Okay, do you work weekends or do you have weekends off? You know? Well, this woman was saying, I have weekends off, but I have my son, and, I think she said something like I can get out most of the day on the weekends or something like that, but she didn't say that, she was free on at least some weekends, right? I then asked her, well, at that point, I just went in for the kill because I had a feeling she was about to show her cards. And I said, do you enjoy romantic weekend getaway trips, and do you have time for weekend getaways? Are you able to get away, right? I was looking to see, okay, does she have anyone to watch her son? Is she always with her son? Her son was 14, 15, meaning that he could probably stay home half the day. But I would never want to date a woman that couldn't go on an overnight or a weekend getaway trip. All right? Because that's typically when intimacy and romance and all that stuff happens, right? So I was kind of trying to find out, okay, was this woman's issues resolved? And in a roundabout way, I was trying to find out, is she open to intimacy? Or is she one of those women that is going to want to date the guy for 3 or 4 months and put him through the ringer before she puts her guard down and allows him in her pants? When you folks get as good as I am at reading people and using your intuition and instinct to really look closely at what people even say to you in the text and to even ask the right questions, you're going to spare yourself a lot of time. So after this, I was asking about, are you able to get away on any weekend getaway trips? Do you like weekend getaway trips? Blah, blah, blah. Things that just normal couples do, right? She then got back to me. I remember this. And she goes, it seems like you're, really trying to find out a lot of things. You had asked me, what time is my bedtime. I forgot to mention, I had asked her back then, what time is her bedtime? I would always ask any woman I was talking with, what time is her bedtime? Because I want to know how late am I able to call you for a phone call, because sometimes I'll work into the evenings. I'll plan and do some videos and stuff. And I want to know how late I can call you. But because I also had asked her about, does she like weekend getaway trips? Is she able to get away on those trips? After she had told me that she's able to get away for most of the, I think she said most hours on the weekends or something. She had her son, meaning that she never said that she could do overnights, right? And she knew I was going there. She knew I was going to ask about something that was going to get her eliminated because she was not able to do it. And most guys out there don't want to date a woman that's not able to get away for a romantic weekend getaway, or a romantic getaway every now and then, even if it's a weekday. Like with this woman I'm with now, she's working in retail. She can take some weekends off, but we do a lot of our things during the week. I plan around it. I'm self-employed. I can figure that into my schedule. For the right woman, I'm going to do that. So because of asking about the weekend thing, and then she brought up something I had asked earlier in the conversation about what time does she go to bed. She goes, I think you're just, it's just, you're asking too many questions or something like that. And then she wrote, I don't remember the exact words. It was like, I don't think we are a match. I remember what I wrote back. I wrote back, agreed, exclamation point. Have a great day. Take care. And then I blocked her. So that woman had unresolved issues that would have affected the normal natural flow of progression of getting to know her. Now, I'm not saying she was a bad woman, and I'm not saying that she would not have been able to eventually work through those issues. But I didn't want to be the guy. I didn't want to be her therapist. I didn't want to invest, the majority of my time being with her, where I was going to end up more so trying to fix her issues than enjoy her company. And see, a lot of you guys out there may even see these red flags with some of these, women you're encountering. And ladies, you may even see some of these red flags with guys you're encountering. But what happens in many cases, even though you see the red flags, especially for you guys overlook the red flags because the chick is super hot. She has nice big boobies and a nice booty. And, she has a nice, sweet voice, sweet sounding voice, right? People can put on an act. When people are trying to when people are trying to connect romantically, they're on their best behavior typically for at least a month, but typically the first 2 to 3 months, right? After like 3 months, if you're with someone that has unresolved issues, that's when this shit hits the fan. And by that point, you may be emotionally invested into them, while at the same time thinking, oh shit, what the fuck have I gotten myself into? This is draining my energy. This woman's like an energy vampire, right? You don't want that. Same thing for you ladies. You don't want a guy that's an energy vampire, because there are men like this as well. But I see it more so on the flip side with women, because women are emotional beings, more so than men. When men and women we're all emotional beings. It's just women respond to everything emotionally first based on how they're feeling in the present moment, like I always say. And men, typically real men, respond to things logically first and then may shed some emotion. But nowadays, like I mentioned earlier at the beginning of the show, because a lot of guys out there, are raised differently, are raised more feminized. A lot of these guys are responding to everything emotionally first, like women. And that should be a sign for women to just stay away from those guys, because those guys are not behaving masculine. They're behaving more feminine, meaning that they probably or definitely have some unresolved issues that are going to affect the relationship. That's what I think is happening nowadays. That's why people are in a hookup culture. Relationships don't last that long. Marriages are failing at the rate of 60+%. So more than 1 out of every 2 marriages here in the U.S. nowadays will end up in divorce. Why is that? It's because we're not properly qualifying people when we meet them. We're not getting to know people. We're not looking deep enough beyond the exterior, the physical exterior, to see what's really going on with these people inside. What have they been through emotionally and mentally, right? Now, when you're younger, like in your teens and 20s, you're not going to understand this stuff. And typically, when people are younger, that's when their issues are being created. I'm going to go to the other side. I'm going to take a break first. Let me sit here for a second. By the time you get older, if you haven't worked through those issues, that's when they're going to affect you and anyone else you encounter. And if you're a strong, down-to-earth, decent, reasonable guy like myself, or you're down-to-earth, strong, reasonable gal, right? If you're a reasonable person like myself, right? And I'm not saying we're perfect. I'm not saying that we don't have any issues. Everybody has issues, but I'm saying that you don't have really any major traumatic unresolved issues that just allow you to be cool, calm, and collective, right? If you're like myself and, you want to find a good partner that's going to complement that, you need to know not only what to look for, but what to not look for, what to avoid. And I hate to say it, the divorce rate is very, very high, 60%. To me, if I had to guess, that's saying that probably more than 60% of the people living here in the U.S., this is my opinion, it's not a fact, it's my opinion, because the divorce rate is so high, if I had to guess, in my opinion, 60% or even more than 60% of people in the U.S., combined male and female, have some sort of mental or emotional issues or unresolved issues, either stemming back to their childhood or at some point between their childhood and their current age. And that, in my opinion, is also why I feel, it's much harder for people to date nowadays, to commit. Half the battle is finding somebody emotionally stable and laid back and easygoing and down to earth. I've even shared on a few past streams that for me, I'd rather date a woman that's less physically attractive, that has a great personality and is easygoing and has no unresolved issues and is just, down to earth and, like I said, easy to get along with, than date a super hot woman that has nothing but issues. And it's going to be exhausting to be around her. You don't want that. You guys, and same thing with you ladies. You ladies don't want to be around guys that have these issues, because guys have them as well, because they're going to exhaust you. Relationships are supposed to be fun and playful. Relationships are supposed to be the escape from other aspects of life, such as, maybe your family, your friends, your work, right? When you're in a relationship with somebody and they're in one with you, that's basically your escape from the crazy everyday chronicles of all other aspects of your life. So if that's going to be your escape, why would you want your escape to be with someone that's going to make you more miserable than the other aspects I just mentioned? Now, I'm not saying that your job's going to make you miserable, or your family's going to make you miserable, or your friends are going to make you miserable. At times, though, family can be tough to deal with. So can your friends. And your job can suck, right? Maybe more than at times, your job can just be just hard to deal with, right? So you look for that special someone that can be your escape from all that, and you could be their escape. You could be each other's escape. But why would you want to escape with someone that's going to make you, feel like you're not escaping what you want to escape? You know what I mean? This is absolutely beautiful right here. We are at 86 minutes. I'm going to go to the other observation deck. The sun is really beautiful. And I want to make it very, very clear, again, to the woman that I've been seeing the last month and a half. If you're watching this, this show is not specifically catered to you, ma'am. I've talked about these types of subjects in the past. I wanted to kind of do this as a refresher today because I haven't talked about this in a while. So, in case you're sitting there at work and you're like, oh, he's talking about me, I'm a lady and I've had issues myself. Everybody has issues, ma'am. Everybody has issues. But I'm talking about this today because there are things all of us can do to rid ourselves of those underlying issues, those unresolved issues from our past that are hindering the progress we so desperately want to make. If people just sat there and listened to what I'm saying, I've been through all this. I've been through what you folks have been through. I've been called out on my shit, just like I'm calling you folks out on yours now. I'm not calling any one in particular out. I'm saying in general, I know there are many of you that have a lot of unresolved issues, and I'm calling you out because I want you to get better. You deserve to be better. You deserve to have everything you want in your life in the ways you want it, but you're not going to get it until you resolve those issues. You resolve those past issues. You tell yourself enough is enough. I'm tired of this shit. I'm tired of self-sabotaging myself, like I mentioned earlier on the show. The problem for most people that have these underlying issues, unresolved underlying issues, is self-sabotage. They think because they failed a time or two while they were trying to accomplish something that they're a failure and they'll never succeed. You know how many times I've failed in my life? You know how many times I've failed at even trying to get this business going? And even to this day, it's still nowhere near where I'd like it to be or where I feel it should be. But have I given up? No. Why? Because I don't give up on myself. I used to in my younger days. And then what would I do? I would just, self-sabotage myself. I'd have self-pity, right? I'd walk around like a charity case. It was fucking pathetic. Yeah, I admit it. It was fucking pathetic. It was. I thought I heard somebody behind me. Give me a second here. Folks, I've always said this. You are your own worst enemy. I'm my own worst enemy. We all control ourselves. No one else controls us but ourselves. If you allow someone else to control you, that's still you allowing them to control you. So who's in control of that? It's you. A lot of people say, a lot of women say, my boyfriend is controlling. You're letting him control you, ma'am. Well, he's controlling. And I don't know what to do. Maybe leave the relationship, ma'am? You ever thought of that? Why aren't you leaving it? Because maybe he's providing for you monetarily? Or he's providing something else for you? So you stick around, you put up with the BS and the controlling because you need something else. Well, ma'am, you can't bake your cake and eat it too. You can't make your bed and then lay in it. You folks are all in control of your own destiny, your own journeys. Every time I hear somebody say, my girlfriend's controlling, my boyfriend's controlling, I always say, if they're controlling, why are you with them? Or, why are you allowing them to control you? That's just how they are. Well, is that what you signed up for? No. Then why don't you leave her? Well, I really care about her. Oh, okay, so you care about someone that's controlling you. Okay, I see. I don't think it's the fact that you care about someone that's controlling you. I think you're hooked on the PUSSY. Let's just put it that way. And I think you're hooked on the fact that she's a beautiful woman and you like being seen with a beautiful woman because you're insecure without her on your shoulder because she increases your value because she's hot, right? That's a very insecure man right there. That's a man that lacks self-confidence. I hear so many lame excuses from men and women nowadays on why they're with each other and this and that. The bottom line is chemistry, like I've said, is either there or it isn't. Chemistry is a must. It's not a choice. And chemistry is physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. All four have to be there. Let's say you have mental, emotional, and spiritual, but the sex sucks. It's not going to work. You two could be the hottest people in the world. The man and the woman, they can be hot. You can have great conversations. You could be very intelligent. You could be emotionally bonded. And you could be spiritually bonded. But then you go and you try to have sex and the sex is no good. It's not going to work. If the sex is really good and you have no emotional bond, it's not going to work. This is what you folks don't understand. There are 4 aspects to a relationship that are musts. Not maybes, musts. They must be there. Physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. If all 4 aren't there from the very beginning and stay there, then neither of you have anything. You've got nothing. Stop complaining. Stop asking questions in the forum. These 20-year-old guy is on Reddit. My 19-year-old girlfriend told me that she wants to take a little break, but she wants to come back next week. What should I do? What should you do? Move on, bro. Move on, bro. Unless you want to be a CUCKOLD and watch her bang Chad. That's what she's going to be doing during that week, bro. Because, listen, any guy or any woman, or even any guy for that sake, that's really into their partner. When a man is really into a woman and a woman is really into a man and the mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical are there, neither side will feel any need to ask for any space or time off. The moment any type of space is asked for, it's over. And it was never there in the first place. Because you guys and gals don't take the time to properly qualify people nowadays. Well, I hear this word online a lot now. A lot of these other channels I follow that primarily cater content to guys, but they talk about women. They share stuff about women too. They say you got to properly vet each other, like vetting, right? Vetting is like qualifying. I don't like the word vetting, but that's what it actually is, right? I like to call it properly qualifying your prospect. And yes, when you're getting to know someone in the dating world, they are a fucking prospect. Just like in sales, you have prospects. In dating, you have prospects. You're going to waste your time in the sales world working for someone that are you going to waste your time trying to sell something to someone that's not going to ever buy? You're going to lose your damn job and not make any commission to pay your bills. Guys and gals, you got to treat the dating world just like you would treat a sales job. You ask a lot of fucking questions. Lots of questions. If a woman's really into you, she'll answer every one. Every one. If she says, what is this, an interview? What is this, 20 questions? You're damn right it is. And you failed because you don't want to answer, because you don't want to tell me something that you know is going to make me disqualify you. Well, ma'am, I'm going to disqualify you anyways because you by you saying, what is this, 20 questions? What is an interview? It's saying that I'm asking too many questions that you don't want to answer, man, because you know it's going to eliminate you. So let me spare you the headache. Let me spare you the headache. I'm really trying to help as many men and women spare the heartache and the headache of being with the wrong person. I can tell when people are meant to be together. I can tell when chemistry is happening or not. If two people really, really care for each other and love each other, that relationship's going to flourish like a rocket. It's going to keep moving forward. It's going to progress. It's not going to be put at a standstill. A lot of women out there nowadays that complain, oh, I've been with my boyfriend for 3 or 4 or 5 years. I'm just waiting for him to propose, right? Well, there's a reason why the guy hasn't proposed yet. It's because he's not feeling comfortable enough to propose yet to that woman. Because while the woman may be providing that particular guy, some great aspects in their relationship, other aspects are lacking to the point of where he doesn't feel that he's ready to marry her because he feels she's not ready for marriage. Right? And what happens nowadays, I talk about this a lot. I've said it before, I'll say it again. And I know there are some people out there that I've been talking with lately that know people in this situation. A lot of times nowadays, especially for younger men and women in their 20s and 30s, right? A lot of women They're looking for that beta male provider. They're looking for that stability, right? And they'll latch onto a guy because he makes good money and he's a decent guy, but he's not typically the physical type that she would dream of banging, right? The physical type of guy that women dream of banging are the Chads and Tyrones. But most of the beta male providers that a lot of these women seek because they need them, right? Even nowadays, women need beta male providers, okay? Typically, these guys are not the most attractive guys. They're okay looking, right? They're okay average looking, right? But they're not what these women really want. They settle for the beta male provider, right? And the funny thing is nowadays, a lot of men are figuring this out because of videos like I do and other guys do out here. There are lots of people on YouTube, here on YouTube and Reddit and Quora and other forums that are talking about the beta male provider, right? And a lot of men that are getting into these relationships or even living with women, right? There are men that are living with women, right? And they're making twice what the woman's making, right? And because of that, the man is saying, okay, honey, you don't have to pay any rent. You can live here rent free. That's a big fucking mistake because you're enabling the behavior of her being able to take advantage of you. So whatever money she makes, let's say you make 100 grand, she makes 50, right? If she's paying no bills besides her gas to and from work and a little bit of food every now and then, shit, like 80% of her money is going in the bank. How much of yours is going in the bank? Maybe 10 or 20% if you're lucky. Well, you do make twice what she makes, but still. That's what's happening nowadays. You got guys that are, dating women that are looking for the beta male provider. They don't realize it at first. Next thing you know, they move in together. The guy's like, I make twice what you make. It's okay, baby. We're together, blah, blah, blah. I'll take care of the rent, right? And then what happens? The woman starts to push marriage. Then she wants to lock the guy down because she wants to have that financial stability, period, right? And then what happens? The guy starts to realize, oh shit, I've been reading these forums, I'm hearing other guys going through this. I wonder if my woman's doing this to me, right? Wow, I'm paying the entire rent, I'm paying the utilities, I'm paying everything, food, all that. She goes to work, makes half what I make, but is putting almost everything away in the bank. So what happens? Even if we date another 4 or 5 years and not get married and we're living together, she's going to have $200-300K in the bank and I'm going to have very little because I'm forking away everything, right? Guys are getting smarter nowadays, right? Women wanted to be liberated. That's all great, right? Women want equal rights, they got them. They wanted to work and be independent, they got that, right? We give them that, and they still don't want to pay rent, and they still want to be taken care of. But they want it on their terms, right? They want it on their terms. Which is contradictory. It is. Can't have it both ways. Can't bake your cake and then eat it. Can't make your bed and then lay in it. It's ridiculous. And that's how it all starts, folks. That's just one example of a story right there on how the divorce rates reached over 60%. And what happens in these most cases, let's say in this case, this dude ends up marrying this woman, right? Let's say that, he's with her for 10 years. He's still making twice. Maybe he gets promoted and makes 3 times what she's making. Let's say this dude ends up making 150 grand a year and she's still making 50. Or let's say she starts making 100 and he's making 300, right? Okay? Once they get married, it's combined assets, right? That's $400,000 a year combined, right? Remember, 300 of it is what he's bringing in, right? So you marry a guy that makes 3 times as much as you do in a world where women are independent and liberated, right? In essence, it's almost like stealing $100K a year if you divorce your husband. Think about this, folks. I want you to really think about this before I go off the air right now, okay? You get married to a woman that makes 1/3 of what you make. She makes 100,000 a year. You make 300,000, right? You get married. Now your income is combined, and everything is combined and split equally in most states with a no-fault divorce, meaning that she can go bang as many other guys she wants while she's married to you, and she'll still get half, right? So in this case, she's making 100K. You're making 300K. That's combined 400,000. That means every year, both of you are entitled to $200,000. Again, if this guy's making 300, you subtract the 200,000 from that half, you're looking at 100,000 of the money that this guy is earning if she divorces him after 10 years is going to go, well, it'll actually get split up even if they get divorced right away. It's a spousal support. It's a spousal support that's going to be permanently if it's over 10 years. So throughout the time of the marriage, okay, however long the marriage is, okay, the assets are combined. You get divorced, you split it 50-50. That's why guys have to be careful, right? It's not about, look, it's not about trying to, call women the derogatory names. It's not trying to call them the gold, I don't want to say it. It's too rude. I don't want to say it. I'm not trying to say that, most women are the gold, what? Right? And even if they're not the gold, what? Okay. Even if they're a decent woman and it doesn't work out, and the man's making 3 times as much, she's gonna win big time. That man's gonna lose big time. Marriage is a big risk nowadays, folks. It's a big risk. I'm not anti-marriage, but I'll tell you this: if I do ever get married in my life, I'm gonna dot my T's and cross my I's. And let me tell you something. I'm gonna protect all my assets, because down the road, my family has properties and stuff. It's gonna go to my brother and I. I mean, who's it gonna go to? I mean, I'm not expecting it, and I'm not a greedy guy, but who's it gonna go to, right? So you think I'm going to sit there and get married without protecting my assets along with my family's assets? That's what it's all about. And to some people that are watching behind the scenes right now, okay, I know there's one person watching right now where this story may be hitting home or not, right? This is not about trying to be mean or hurt anyone. This is about protecting your assets. It's about protecting what you've worked for as a man and as a woman, right? Nowadays, it's very easy. Nowadays, it's very, very, very easy for men to be taken by the system. And that's part of what I do, to help men and help women too. I really don't want to say anything bad about women. I actually like women. But there are a lot of women out there that want to play the feminist card and say I'm liberated and I'm working and I got my own stuff, yet then they find a guy that makes 3 times as much money as they do, and if they don't make 3 times as much as the guy does, they don't get a chance, right? Like, you want to be independent and have your own stuff, but then you won't date a guy unless he makes 3 times as much as you do and then marries you. So that way you can have instant access to that cash, right? That's a bunch of crap. I'm going to come over here because there's a woman coming over there with her dog and I don't want to interrupt them. All right, folks. I said enough for a day. We are at 1 hour and 51 minutes. Please like, share, subscribe, bang the bell, select all notifications. I'm not quite sure what time it is. It's probably closer to 7:15 or 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 or 4:15 Pacific. I don't know if I'm going to come back for a show from the studio. I'm not really doing that many in-studio shows lately, but who knows. Or I may just record a few other pre-recorded videos for the content I have elsewhere just for men. Or I may take the rest of the night off. Been kind of relaxing a little bit lately, and it's really helped me catch up on a lot of much needed rest. Folks, before I get on out of here, look, I'm not trying to be critical to anyone. I love everyone. I love men and women. I respect people in general, right? I believe in the good old days, right? But the modern world is it's just the craziest world I've ever seen. I've just never seen so many issues nowadays, especially when it comes to dating, relationships, and marriage. I've just never, ever seen men and women so far apart. Men and women were made to work best together. Women need to understand that, and men need to understand that, and we need to understand each other. Men need to understand what women bring to the table, and women need to understand what men bring to the table, right? And we need to stop flexing our muscles as men or women, right? There's no need for women to flex their muscles. There's no need for men to flex their muscles. Both men and women that do flex their muscles are just very insecure, and they're projecting their insecurities. That's what they're doing. Again, men bring something unique to the table. Women bring something unique to the table. Both men and women are biologically good at different things. Now, there's nothing wrong with women, wanting to do things that once only men have done. And nothing wrong with men doing things that once only women would do. Kind of like, there are male nurses nowadays, right? And there are female firefighters and policemen, right? That's no problem, right? When it comes to relationships, when it comes to outside of the workforce, okay? Men bring something biologically to the table, and women bring something biologically to the table. We're both different, but we work best together. We both have different elements to bring to the table. We balance each other out, which is what I'm trying to say. When I'm with a good woman and I'm able to have a nice, sweet, down-to-earth, easygoing relationship, and even if I don't see that woman, for a few days or so, and I talk with her by phone a little bit before bed each night, that balances me out, and hopefully I balance her out. Let's start working together again, folks. Let's stop this division. Let's stop this hate. Let's stop all the BS. and make this world a better place again. Hope my message got through to you folks today. I may be back later. I may not. Who knows? Keep it locked here. Talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.